Have you ever stared at a powerful figure, some CEO, politician, or social media guru, and wondered, how did this person get here? We've all seen it. People who seem painfully unqualified, shockingly unskilled, even recklessly ignorant, yet somehow they're the ones calling the shots. Meanwhile, truly thoughtful, capable minds linger in obscurity. Think of historical disasters like Caligula turning the Roman Senate into a circus, or modern scandals like Adam Newman at WeWork, charming billions out of investors with little more than bold slogans and big eyes. It's not just ironic, it feels orchestrated. So here's the uncomfortable question. What if this pattern of incompetence rising and intelligence being sidelined isn't an accident? What if there's a dark logic behind it? Today, we're going to explore this paradox through the ruthless lens of one of history's most misunderstood political minds, Niccolò Machiavelli. But this isn't just dusty Renaissance theory. This is a psychological reality shaping our workplaces, governments, and digital spaces right now. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why being smart might actually be hurting your chances of ever holding real power. In the early 1500s, Machiavelli watched Florence burn from the shadows of exile. He had served in government, negotiated with kings, and seen power up close. But after falling out of favor, he was cast aside, alone and disgraced. It was during this isolation that he wrote The Prince, a brutally honest guidebook for rulers that didn't pretend the world was noble. Where previous thinkers imagined how leaders should behave, Machiavelli described how they actually do. He wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." And in that sentence lies our first disturbing clue. Because to gain power, it often matters less who you are and more who you appear to be. Machiavelli understood that reality is rarely rewarded. Performance is. And people who seem competent are often more successful than those who are. Let's pause here. It seems obvious that intelligence should lead to success. Smarter people make better decisions, right? But Machiavelli saw something different. He noticed that people who think deeply, question authority, and understand complexity often struggle in the brutal arena of power. Why? Because intelligence doesn't just bring insight, it brings hesitation. It leads to ethical dilemmas. It sees gray where others see black and white. Now picture a highly intelligent person in a power game. They overanalyze. They question their own motives. They weigh long-term consequences instead of offering quick, satisfying answers. But here's the thing. Power rewards clarity, not caution. Look at Socrates, one of the wisest men to ever live. He was executed, not celebrated, for his endless questions. Now compare that to populist leaders who confidently offer easy solutions to complex problems. Who do we follow? The one who says, "I know nothing," or the one who claims, "I alone can fix it"? A 2017 study in the Journal of Applied Psychology found something startling. Leadership effectiveness rises with intelligence, but only to a point. Around an IQ of 120, things plateau. Go much higher, and your chances of being seen as a leader decrease. Why? Because very smart people tend to communicate in abstract, nuanced ways that confuse the average person. Meanwhile, those with average intelligence but higher confidence often emerge as natural leaders. This leads us to one of the most chilling realities about power. The fool doesn't know they're a fool, and that's what makes them dangerous. In the 1990s, psychologists David Dunning and Justin Kruger described a bias now known as the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's simple but devastating. People with low ability often overestimate their competence, while those with high ability underestimate theirs. Machiavelli didn't know the name, but he knew the game. He wrote, "The wise man does at once what the fool does at last." But in politics, in business, and in culture, the fool often acts first, loudest, and most confidently. And in a world hungry for certainty, that confidence wins. A 2020 study published in Personality and Social Psychology confirmed it. People perceived as overconfident were consistently rated as better leaders, regardless of their actual ability. Perception beat reality. And this isn't just theory. History is packed with examples. George Custer led men to their deaths at Little Bighorn because he believed himself invincible. Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes raised hundreds of millions on a technology that never worked, simply by projecting conviction. Adam Newman built WeWork into a $47 billion illusion with nothing but charisma and promises. These weren't just mistakes. They were confidence-driven delusions, rewarded by systems designed to reward appearances over substance. So how do these people stay in power? Surely their incompetence eventually catches up, right? Not always. Because Machiavelli uncovered another sinister truth. Incompetent leaders surround themselves with people even less competent than they are. He wrote, "The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. This creates a downward spiral. Insecure leaders don't promote talent, they suppress it. They elevate yes-men, flatterers, and fools who won't challenge them. Over time, this creates entire institutions built on mediocrity, where intelligence isn't just unwelcome, it's a threat. We see it in corrupt governments that punish whistleblowers, in corporations where innovation is stifled by bureaucracy, in online echo chambers where viral idiocy drowns out critical thought. It's not just that stupidity rises to power, it protects itself once it's there. Let's go deeper. Confidence, real or fake, has an intoxicating effect on the human brain. We are wired to equate certainty with truth. Research from Stanford and the University of Houston found that narcissism was one of the strongest predictors of leadership in unstructured groups. Narcissists weren't more effective, but they thought they were. And crucially, so did everyone else. So when a narcissist speaks with conviction, people follow, even if their ideas are disastrous. Now imagine what happens when entire systems, corporate, political, even educational, begin to reward this trait. You get leaders who believe their own lies, who can't self-reflect, who see criticism as betrayal. And you get followers who mistake arrogance for brilliance. It's not just a bug in the system, it is the system. So where does this leave us? Are we doomed to be ruled by the confident and the clueless? Not necessarily. Machiavelli didn't write The Prince to encourage evil. He wrote it to reveal how power operates, so that the truly wise might use that knowledge. Because here's the truth. The world isn't fair. Power isn't given to the most deserving. It's taken by those who understand how to project, persuade, and manipulate perception. But once you see the game, you can learn to play it differently. You can develop strategic confidence without losing your integrity. You can speak simply while thinking deeply. You can understand that appearing competent isn't faking it. It's part of communication in a world driven by optics. And most of all, you can stop being surprised when those in power disappoint you, because now you understand why they're there and why smarter, better people often aren't. Machiavelli once wrote, "He who seeks to deceive will always find someone who will allow himself to be deceived." We live in a world full of illusions, where image often beats reality and noise drowns out wisdom. But knowledge, especially dark knowledge, is power. If you found value in this video, don't just scroll past. Like, comment, and subscribe, because the more people understand the rules of power, the harder it becomes for manipulators to win. And remember, you don't have to play dirty to win the game, but you do have to know how the game is played.